Have you ever had your sugar daddy turn out to be your therapist's husband? I started seeing Dr. Whitfield after my third panic attack landed me in the ER. She was everything I needed. Calm, professional, never judgmental about my unconventional income sources. For 6 months, she helped me work through my anxiety about money, my daddy issues, everything. She even showed me photos of her perfect family, her surgeon husband, their twin boys at Harvard. I envied her stability. Meanwhile, I had an arrangement with someone I knew only as R. We'd met on a discreet platform for these kinds of relationships. He was generous, transferring $5,000 monthly for dinner dates twice a week. We had rules: no real names, no personal details, separate phones. He wore expensive suits, talked about medical conferences, and always paid cash at upscale restaurants where nobody asked questions. One Thursday, I was describing my latest anxiety trigger to Dr. Whitfield when she pulled out her phone. "Sorry, family emergency text," she said, glancing at the screen. Her face went pale. "We need to cut this short. My husband's been in an accident." She rushed out, leaving her phone on the desk. It buzzed. Without thinking, I glanced at the notification preview. "Running late tonight. Tell the boys I'll miss dinner. R." My blood went cold. That sign-off, the way he typed with no punctuation, the medical conferences. I stared at her family photo on the wall, her husband's face carefully studied. The jawline was familiar, but in the photo, he had a full beard, glasses. R was always clean-shaven, contacts. That evening, R texted about rescheduling our date. Wife had emergency at work. I sat in my apartment, nauseous. 6 months of twice-weekly dinners. 6 months of him complaining about his boring marriage. 6 months of me telling his wife about my trust issues with older men. I spent the weekend in hell debating what to do. Cancel everything? Confess? Pretend nothing happened? Monday came too fast. Dr. Whitfield apologized for cutting our session short, explaining her husband had food poisoning, not an accident. "He's terrible at taking care of himself," she laughed. "Acts like a baby when sick. The man who'd bought me a Cartier bracelet last month was home with a tummy ache." I almost laughed at the absurdity. She leaned forward. "You look troubled. What's on your mind?" I opened my mouth to tell her everything, then stopped. She'd been helping me for months. Real progress. If I destroyed her marriage, I'd lose my therapist, my income, everything. But staying silent felt like swallowing poison. "I need to tell you something about boundaries," I started carefully. "I've been seeing someone who isn't being honest with their partner." She nodded thoughtfully. "And how does that make you feel?" "Complicit," I said. "Like I'm participating in hurting someone who doesn't deserve it." "That's very insightful. Sometimes we need to evaluate whether relationships align with our values." We spent the session discussing ethical boundaries, her unknowingly counseling me through her own husband's betrayal. The irony was suffocating. That night, our message suggesting we meet at our usual hotel. I responded, "I know who you are, Dr. Roland Whitfield. Your wife showed me your family photos." Silence for 20 minutes. Then, "Please don't tell her. I'll double the monthly amount." "Triple it," I wrote back, hating myself. "And this ends in 3 months. You tell her yourself or I will." He agreed immediately. The money would cover my student loans, let me finish my degree without working 3 jobs. Blood money, but I took it. For 3 months, I sat across from Dr. Whitfield discussing healthy relationships while her husband deposited $15,000 monthly into my account. She helped me process guilt I couldn't fully explain. The sessions became torture and therapy simultaneously. The final payment came with a message. Told her about the affair. Getting divorced. Don't contact us again. My last session with Dr. Whitfield was surreal. She looked exhausted. Mentioned she was taking time off for personal matters. As I left, she hugged me, something she'd never done before. "You've grown so much," she said. "You're learning to recognize what you deserve." I wanted to tell her she deserved better too, but the words wouldn't come. That night, I transferred the entire $45,000 to her office as an anonymous donation for women's mental health services. It didn't absolve me, but it was something. I found a new therapist the next week. When she asked why I switched, I just said, "Boundary issues. Some secrets you take to the grave. Others, you process in therapy forever."